Hello everyone. So today I'm going to show you how I solved my JEE Advanced 2021 paper. This is not going to be a solution video or an analysis video, but I just want to show you an example of how I attempted my paper. What is the strategy I used? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? So you can use this as an example of a good way of attempting the paper, and you can use this to come up with your own attempting strategy. Just don't copy my same strategy because different strategies may work with different people. So first of all, let me tell you my sequence of attempting. This was something I came up with after trying in a lot of mock tests. So that is something you should do also. Try different methods and see which one fits you best. Most people may tell you to start from chemistry, but that may not be good for everyone. So anyways, this was my sequence. First, I would follow physics in the same order until I got stuck. So what does this mean? I will go in the same order as which is there in the question paper, and whenever I get stuck, either if I see some huge calculation or something I can't solve, I'll stop it there. Then what I do, I'll move on to chemistry, solve for 35 minutes. Sometimes it took less also, maybe 30 or 25 minutes, but generally it would take 35 minutes. Then I'll move on to math, and I'll solve it approximately until there's 90 minutes left. I'll move on to physics and do it for 50 minutes. Now I'll have 40 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll solve the questions I kept for round two. What do I mean by round two? So these include questions that I felt would go lengthy, even though they were easy, or questions that I found tough at first, which I knew I wouldn't be able to solve directly. So these are the questions in round two that I would do in the last 40 minutes. And another thing, in the 15 minutes before the exam, they'll show you the instructions. They show you the sections in the paper. So in this 15 minutes, what you should do is read it carefully and see what all sections are there, what's the mark distribution, how to enter the answer, for example, in integer type, in numerical type, how many decimal places do you need, all that you should know that. And then you should also figure out which order you will attempt those sections. So in this paper, the sections were like this. Section 1 was plus 3 minus 1 single correct. 2 was plus 2 0 numerical type. And 3 was plus 4 minus 2 multiple choice. And section 4 is plus 4 0 integer type. So this is my suggestion. You should start with some section that you're comfortable with and also has less negative markings but still high weightage. So because of that, I settled single correct because I was comfortable with those type of questions. Then I moved to section 2, which had 0 marks. I did this because generally what happens is that in the beginning of the paper, you are not completely concentrated, so your accuracy may be less. So it's better to aim those questions that don't have much weightage, but and also don't have much negative marking, so that in case you get it wrong, it doesn't affect you much. So finally, the order I followed was 1, then 2, and then 4 because it had high weightage, and then 3 because it still had high weightage but still had high negative marking. So the order I followed was 1, 2, 4, 3. So like I said, I started with physics. This was question 1, and I was comfortable with 1A caliper, so I was able to solve it easily. And question 2, this was a very easy question. You had to analyze the graph, and I solved it quickly in I think 1 or 2 minutes. And then this was the next question in my paper, and even this I solved it easily. I think in 2 3 minutes. Then finally, this was the last question in that section. I knew it would go lengthy because like there are many events to consider, but still I started solving it because I knew the concept. But that was a mistake I made because I made some calculation mistake and the answer was not matching. So I spent about 3 to 4 minutes there without getting the answer. So I just left it for now. So after that, after getting stuck at that question, I moved on to chemistry. So again, I went to section 1 of chemistry. Yeah, I think this was the first question in my paper, this one. I was comfortable with optical, so I was able to solve this easily in 2 to 3 minutes. And then this is the next question. Here I got a little bit confused whether we could use the FCC formula directly. Anyways, I did it from scratch, the whole calculation, and I got the answer correctly. It went lengthy, but still I got it. Now I feel like I should have maybe kept it for round 2 instead. But anyways, I did it. This is the next question. I was very comfortable in calculating finding the configuration and writing magnetic moment. So I was able to solve this easily. Then this question, luckily I remembered that the terminal triple bond, it doesn't get reduced because it will undergo acid-base reaction. So I was able to mark the correct answer for this. So I finished section 1 of chemistry like that. Then I moved on to section 2. This question, all of these were easy reactions, like all standard reactions, so it was easy. But still, it was calculation heavy, like you can see. And yeah, I got both answers easily, but the thing was that I made some calculation mistake because I got both answers wrong. And I had a feeling that maybe I'll make a calculation mistake, so actually I kept it for review at the end. And in fact, I think I found a mistake in y and corrected it also, but still I got it wrong. I don't know how. So yeah, you should be very careful in calculation, especially if you find it as an easy question, because sometimes you may get overconfident in an easy question. So be especially careful in that easy question. Also, because since it's easy, most people will get marks from it. So if you don't get the marks, that's a loss for you. So in such question, you should be more careful. And next was this question. Now, I would suggest you to actually do this in a second round because it would go lengthy. But I was comfortable with this type of format of questions. So I did it in my first round itself. Even though it went lengthy, I was able to solve it in a good time and give answers to both correctly. And here in this question, even this, I knew it would go lengthy, but the concept was easy, so I did it. But a big blunder I made was here X. They asked boiling point of water, but actually what I reported was elevation in boiling point. So that was a blunder I made because I wasn't careful. Similarly, actually I made the mistake in Y as well, but here they asked difference in boiling points, so that didn't matter. So luckily I got marks in Y. Anyways, you should be careful in such type of questions to see what they are asking. That's the most important thing, to see what they are asking. So yeah, you should be careful in that. Next time, move on to section 4. Yeah, here. This one I made a huge blunder that I didn't notice in the exam. I completely forgot to consider resonating structures of the radical. I don't know why. I think it was in the exam pressure. Like I completely forgot about that. Even while solving such questions regularly, I always used to get it right. But I think under the exam pressure, I completely forgot about it. So while people were arguing whether the answer was 9 or 13, I was there with an answer of 10. So that was disappointing. This question actually, I think many people are arguing about different products, but I just made a simple Octane product, and with that the answer came as 8, which was given as the correct answer. So in such cases when you're not sure, most of the time it's the simple product that is actually the answer, so you can mark that confidently. And in this question, it's also easy, but one big mistake I did was I didn't consider this uh, case, this one. So because of that, I lost marks here. So yeah, section 4 was not a good section for me because I lost 8 marks here. That wasn't good. Anyways, I moved on to section 3. Just this. Yeah, this one I had done. That's the first. This one I had done questions like this before, so I was able to do it easily, even though it took some time, like maybe 3 minutes. And I think this was the next question in the paper. And normally in all the mock tests, I used to get questions in surface chemistry wrong. So based on that experience, I left this for the end. And this one was the next question here. Yeah, the from first process was reversible isothermal, and second was reversible adiabatic. So I was thinking that slope of this would be minus p by v, and this would be minus gamma p by v. So the slope, magnitude of the slope should be higher, but that is not reflected in the graph. So because of that, I didn't mark A, and I think B was one of the correct answers, so I marked that. And out of C or D, I remember that in one of those, the direction of the graph was different than the actual one in the question. So they try to trick you there, so you should be very careful with the options. Luckily, I noticed that and I marked the right one. So yeah, that was this question. I don't know if they corrected the key for this, but according to me, this shouldn't have been an answer. Anyways, moving on to this question. Here, I wasn't sure whether this carriers test was for nitrogen or sulfur, but from the BaCl2, I got an idea that maybe they are looking for a barium sulfate PPT or barium sulfide. Barium sulfate PPT, yeah. So based on that, I was thinking about sulfur. So I gave A and D. So yeah, uh, and yeah, I got 4 marks in that. So that was the end of chemistry for me. Then I moved on to maths. No, sorry, there were these two questions. So metallurgy, I was very confident in metallurgy, so I was able to solve this easily. And this question, actually, I was confused whether bismuth hydroxide would be white. Uh, I was pretty sure it was white because it's like p block cation and p block anion, which is white most of the time. But still, I had a very small amount of doubt, so I still left that option with bismuth nitrate, and I marked only A, so I got 1 mark in this one. Then, so that was the end of chemistry round one. Then I moved on to maths. This is the first question in the maths paper for me. I tried drawing the graph for this, but it was getting too complicated, so I left it for the next round. And yeah, I think this is the next question. Actually, what happened was I was a bit demotivated after not getting the first question, so it took me some time to analyze this question. But once I understood the question, I was easily able to solve it, and I marked the correct option, and I got all 3 marks here. Then this was the next question. This was too lengthy when I saw it first. I tried writing all the cases, different possibilities, but then it was going too lengthy, so I decided to leave it for round two. This is one thing you should do, that even if the question is lengthy, you should try reading it once and understand the scenario. Even then, if you feel like it will go lengthy, then leave it. Another tip for you is that in the scribble pad, you mark the questions properly and write it, and then if you're going to leave the question, leave some space there and move on to the next question. That way, if you're coming back to the question in round two, you will already have this information here. You don't have to read the question again. That will save you a lot of time. So that is one thing I followed in the paper. Anyways, moving on to the next question. This one, actually, I got stuck in the middle, but I used the hint from the options like this. So something like this, and this point we know is -1 comma 0. And I think I got one of these two coordinates. I don't remember which one. So basically, I just satisfied -1 comma 0 in all the options, and I saw only B or D was satisfying it. And then based on that and one of these points, I was easily able to get this right. So sometimes in questions, the options will actually help you to get the answer. So you should be very vigilant by solving, whether you can get some hints from the options or maybe even from the questions. You should be very concentrated and vigilant in order to find that. Anyways, that was the end of section 1 in maths. Then I moved on to section 2. This question, I wasn't able to think properly during the exam, so uh, I was getting too many cases and I didn't get any smart method to solve it, so I left it for the next round. This question, I knew it would go lengthy, but then I was comfortable with these type of questions, so I decided to solve it. Like I said, it was lengthy, but still I got both the answers right. And in this question, I tried to think of some good method to solve it, but wasn't able to think of anything. So I just wrote it generally with the locus like this, and tried to do something from it. Like I knew it was a rectangular hyperbola, so tried to use some properties, maybe geometry, but then nothing was striking. So I did it in the lengthy method of writing y is equal to 2x plus 1 here and finding everything. And with that, it went really, really lengthy, but then I still got the answers here. But then even then I was not confident, so I left it for checking for round two. So then I moved to section 4. Uh, yeah, section 4. This is the first question. This was the first question actually. In this, I made some calculation mistake in the beginning, so it took some time, but finally I got it right. It was not that tough. And even this one, it wasn't tough. You just had to make sure that the final solution you get actually satisfies the mod. And I think all the solutions did satisfy, so that was it. And this question, I was very comfortable with vectors, so I was able to solve it easily. So that was the end of section 4. And I moved on to section 3. I think this was the first question there. And also the pretty standard form we have done tan inverse difference series. So this part was easy, but the options were kind of lengthy, so it took some time, but then still I got all 4 marks here. Then I think uh, this was the next question. I wasn't able to think of any good method to do it, so I did the uh, lengthy way of actually finding p square, everything. So it took a lot of time, but still I got all the marks. But even then, in option, I wasn't completely sure in option B, so I left it for the end. But the rest of the options I got. I think this was the next question. This is a very standard type. We have all done this many times, so it wasn't much of an issue. I think this was the next question. I tried drawing the Venn diagram for this, but then it was going again. It was going too lengthy. So I decided to leave it for the second round. In this one, I had a feeling like some information was missing here. Still, I think I got one option right, and the rest I wasn't sure, so I left it again for second round. So that was the no, sorry, there was this question also. I think this can be solved in a good way using geometry, the locus of complex numbers, but then I couldn't think of anything in that moment, so I did the method of substituting z is equal to x plus I delta y and simplifying, etc. And that wasn't much lengthy, and I was able to get the answer easily, so it was fine. That is the end of maths first round. Then I moved on to physics. So like I said, section 1 I had finished, then moved on to section 2. This was the first question in section 2 for me. It took me some time to understand the situation. Then after I understood, I was able to solve it. But then again, I made 2 or 3 calculation mistakes, so it took a really long time. This question, I shouldn't have spent that much time, but that was a fault I made. But still, I got both options right, so fine. And this was the next question. I made a huge blunder here. I'm not sure, but I think I forgot one resistance or something, because of which I got both parts wrong. And then this was the next question. Very easy question, very standard question, but still somewhere I made a calculation mistake, because of which I got t wrong, but I got x right. So I made some mistake somewhere. I'm not sure. So you should be very careful, as like I said, especially in the easy questions, which I wasn't careful. So I lost marks here. Anyways, that was the end of section 2. I moved on to section 4 then. I started actually from the in the reverse order. So this was the first question I saw, and again I felt it was lengthy, so I left it again for a while, and I moved on. Again, this one also I found lengthy. I still tried reading it to understand the situation, but then I knew, like, normally I always used to get angular momentum calculation wrong. So again, I left this for the end also. And this one, very simple standard question, I was able to solve easily. And just after this, again moved back to this question. Once I read it, I realized it wasn't that tough, and I was able to solve it easily. I got it right. And then I moved on to section 3. I think this is the first question there. Uh, Lengthy, but then very simple, simple concept. So I solved it, even though it took some time. Got all 4 marks here. And I think this is the next question. Here, normally I made mistakes in optics, especially TIR. So I was very careful here, and luckily because of that I got all 4 marks here. Then I think uh, this was the next question for me. At first, seeing all this situation, I was very scared. So what I did was I left this for the end in the same section. I went to different questions in the same section first. So then I did this question. I I wasn't sure which number was Bastian, so I left this option B. But Balmer I remembered was n is equal to 2, so I did A. Even C, I think I got it wrong. I mean, C, I knew it was wrong, so I didn't mark. Even here, D option, I was doubtful, so I didn't mark it. Finally, I marked only A and got 1 mark. And I think the answer was A, B, or A, D, not sure. Then this is the next question. If you were to do it in the normal way, like writing ACM alpha using pure rolling condition, writing all the equations, it would grow really lengthy. Then luckily I knew a trick for this. For some force F applied at a distance x from the center of mass for a body with I is equal to kmr square, uh, F is equal to uh, F into minus kr by r into 1 plus k. So we derived this result in class. So because of that, it was really helpful in this question. You had to substitute k and x, and then you easily can check all these options. So because of remembering this result, I was able to solve it easily. So I would suggest you to remember such results like this, which can make your calculation easy. But also remember the derivation for these results in case you somehow forget it during the exam. Anyways, after solving that, I moved to this question. Even here, I remembered one trick to do this, which is that you have to take the, I think the ratio, log of ratio of these two distances, the initial and final distance. And then of course it had some terms like mu naught by 4 pi something also. It was actually a trick in integration if you do it in polar coordinates. Yeah, because of that trick also I was able to solve this question easily. And I got 4 marks here. And I moved back to this question. Once I actually read it carefully, I understood that it was actually not that tough. We just had to use the concept of G effective. So yeah, I was able to solve it. But I think still I was making some mistake because I wasn't getting C option. This expression I was getting a different expression actually. But I still got A, so I marked that. I got 1 mark here. That is the end of physics round one. So actually, I completed the whole round one of the whole paper. Then I moved on to all the questions I had left for round two, starting from chemistry. Uh, Section one was fine. Section two, like I said, I again checked this question, but somehow I still got it wrong. Yeah, these were fine. And then yeah, this question I tried again, but still I was very doubtful because of the different terms. Like in one option I would forget one term, like maybe peptidization, and in the other option I forgot this. So I think I finally marked. No, actually I didn't mark anything. I left this and I didn't get marks here. So yeah, I left it, and then rest was fine. Here also I tried this question again, but again I faced the same issue that the the figure was coming out to be complicated. Finally, I decided to leave it. Similarly, this question also I realized it would take too much time, and I would rather spend that time solving maybe other questions I were more confident in. So I left this question also. So that is the end of section one of maths. Then I moved to section two. Again, this question. Still, I was getting stuck, so again I left it for the end. And what I did in the end was I think when I had 2 or 3 minutes left, I randomly guessed the answer for both as 5 because anyways it had no negative marking. I did it at the end only. You should notice, like when there were 2 or 3 minutes left, because it's not wise to do in the middle of the paper because you can spend the time instead in some other question. Anyways, I moved on. This was fine. Here, like I said, I left the calculation on. I left it to review again. And this was actually the last question I did in paper 1. Again, like the review of it. Actually, I did make a mistake in lambda square and I corrected it. And I was making the correction in D also, and while I was calculating, the timer ran out, so I couldn't input this. So that was disappointing. Anyways, here also, at that section 2, I came at the end, like I told before that I came here, and even in physics I went. This option I tried again, still I wasn't getting, so I decided to leave it. And then already I had got the answer between ACD, so I was happy with that, and I got partial marks for that also. This one I decided to completely leave it because it was going too lengthy. Here I tried solving for some other option, but still I wasn't getting, so I marked only that one option I got. And move to physics. Section 1, like I said, this question I had left because I wasn't the answer wasn't matching. But then in the second time when I did it, it matched, and I think the answer was this one. I got it right. Anyways, and section 2, I didn't have anything to check, but still I got it wrong. Even here, I didn't have anything to check. And in section 4, like I said, I had left this question for the end, and I solved it. I thought I had considered all the angular velocities, but I think I forgot some component because finally I got this one wrong. And like this, just like I had predicted, I always get angular mounting questions wrong, and even in the actual paper, I got it wrong. So, but luckily, since I left it for the end, it didn't waste much time of mine. So that is the end of physics. And like I said, the last question I did was the 2 mark question in maths, the lambda square and D1. So the paper ended here for me. I was disappointed that I couldn't enter the value of D, but still, I didn't keep it in my mind because I had to be prepared for paper 2, so I forgot about it. So, anyways, that was the end of paper 1 for me. I hope you got to learn something from my attempt. And if you have any doubts, any suggestions, or anything, any opinion, you can comment down below. And I'll be coming with a similar video for paper 2 soon. So, thank you for watching.